This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight, so I'm delighted to be joined by Gary Cully. Gary, last time we spoke in here, it was sort of the breakthrough for you on the mainstream. You dominated Mikel Vasquez and managed to get a knockout victory. You're back, look very comfortable in that hat and everything. How are you feeling coming into another big fight week, Nottingham?
Yeah, feeling very relaxed, feeling excited. Chill vibes this week. Nottingham's good vibes for me. I've been here a couple of times. I had my big win here last year. And that was a bit of a pressure one because I'd just been coming on the scene, so it was my first opportunity at Matchroom, and there was a big pressure on me to put on a big performance, and I did that. And then now I'm back here, I'm settling into the role. I've had a big win since then, and there's a lot of hype and a lot of momentum gathering around me, but I'm settling into the role nicely, and I'm enjoying it, yeah.
So looking into this week, what's the sort of feeling going into the fight? You said a lot on stage about getting him out of there and things like that. How do you feel this fight will play out? Because ultimately you love knocking people out, but you'll be wanting that test. You'll be wanting tougher tests as you progress through the ranks.
Not really. I want to do them all in the first. Genuinely, that's like my style is come forward. My style is exciting. It's entertaining, and when that first bell rings, I'm coming for your head. I can box. I can box very well, and I went through a long, successful amateur career, keeping people on boxing on the back foot and keeping people long. But as soon as I gained that man's strength and got that punch power, I bank on my power, and I know I can punch hard, and I know I'm explosive. I like to entertain. I like to excite people, and that's why people are talking about me so much now. Is because of the style I bring to the table. Because of how I'm looking in my last few fights, coming in with the pink, with the frills, with the diamonds. Everybody likes it, like, do you know what I mean? So I'm just doing my thing and doing me, and people are buying into it and getting really excited, and I like to get people excited. I like to entertain people, so yeah, I don't want any tests. I want to knock everybody out in the first round.
Ireland is littered with superstars, absolutely littered, from your Conor McGregors, your Katie Taylors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This for you now is sort of the path to becoming one of the next in Ireland, to be that big star, so that you get that travelling support if you want to go fight in the States. And also another big ambition of yours is to go fight in Ireland. How important is that you do get to do that? And touch wood, provided everything goes right for you this Saturday, Katie Taylor's undercard?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's no secret. That's kind of a carrot that's been dangled in front of me. If you win on Saturday night, you're in a big fight back at home in Dublin, and that's been a dream of mine not only since I started boxing, but not since I started professional boxing, since I've been a kid. Like, growing up in the boxing club, I've always wanted to fight back home. I could be a little bit biased here in saying this, but I believe that the Irish fans are the best fans in the world, and we really get behind our own. We travel across the world. Conor's brought thousands over to Vegas. Katie's brought thousands over to New York. We've got big Irish contingent over in New York already and in the States, and we do really get behind our own. So it's a big dream of mine to bring Irish across the pond, to bring us over to America and to have some magic nights over there. But obviously, talking about 2023, it's all systems go for Wilfredo Flores on Saturday night, and then touch wood, get through that. It's all systems go for Dublin.
How sort of proud a moment will that be, not just for you, but I'm sure you've got family who have been supporting you since you were year high as you were coming through. Must be a really proud moment for them seeing you obviously go after your dreams, but to be able to perform at home. I mean, it's took Katie how long to get to Ireland? You're doing it in a lot less fights as well.
Yeah, it's genuinely magic. It's just all felt right for me, to be honest with you. I've trusted God's timing, and it's felt absolutely perfect for me. Had a couple of injuries and spells out of the ring where I was like, kind of, I want to be active, I want to be this, I want to be that, but everything has fallen in the right timing. I've signed my deal at Matchroom, I'm putting a big performance. Now we've got Saturday night, and then we're back in Dublin, and it'll be magic for me to fight in front of friends, fight in front of family. I'm involved in a gym in Nace as well, and do a bit of coaching and teaching and kind of mentoring with the guys, the young guys down there as well. So for them to see me performing at the highest level on the biggest stage at home in Dublin is inspiring for them, and that's what it's all about for me now, is kind of trying to inspire the next generation. And I'm always in the gym telling them that I was just like them, like I was just a kid like them, had a dream, put the hours in, put the work in, and the world's your oyster if you do that. Yeah. So for them to see that for me, happening for me, it's big for me, and it's inspiring for them, so yeah.
100%. You may get two opportunities at it because the way they're looking and what they're sounding like they're talking about is Croke Park for Katie looks like it's going to be too soon for me in terms of getting it organised from Eddie's meeting with Connor. It's just it's a mad scenario, but the talks of doing that in September, depending on obviously how Katie's fight goes. I mean, I suppose they could do Serrano Taylor 3 depending on what happens, or Chantel Cameron. You might get a second stab at it as well if you play your cards right.
Yeah, and to do it in Croke Park would be obviously massive. 90,000, 100,000 people. The last person to fight there was Muhammad Ali, like 50 years ago, so 60 years ago. I don't know exact dates, but that's magic again. That's history for Ireland as well. But I don't know, I want to start headlining my own shows then as well, you know. So we're going back on to, that's maybe 2 fights time then. Back end of next year, maybe December, or this year, sorry, maybe December time, going to the Tree Arena myself and starting to headline my own shows and starting to become a big name in Ireland myself, you know.
100%. Obviously, the Matchroom are giving you that grounding here by obviously signing you, taking you on, getting you through these fights on undercards, ultimately for you to get to that stage where they go, this is the Gary Cully show, the headliner. How much is that sort of a big goal for you to tick off? Is it in your your forefront vision of we have to do that ASAP and need to be a headliner? Because that's ultimately how you're gonna grow yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's part of my bucket list obviously, and it's something that I want to do with my career, to become a headline act and become a name. But I feel like that's already happening, especially with the performances I've been putting in and with Matchroom getting behind me and really pushing me the last couple of months. That's been happening anyway, and to be a part of Croke Park would be off the scale, like you're talking about history for my country, like, do you know what I mean, in front of 100,000 people. My grandkids will be reading that in their history books in school, like, you know. So it can, if Croke Park is a possibility and Croke Park's going to go ahead, then me headlining my own show can take the back seat for a couple of months for sure. But it is something that I plan on doing and that I will do, if not the back end of 2023 to start 2024 for sure.
In terms of you as a fighter and how you're developing, do you feel that you're at the right level? Obviously you're always looking for improvements in the gym, but in terms of your journey so far, do you feel you where you want to be? No stone left unturned, that kind of thing?
I feel like I've been matched and managed absolutely perfectly up until to this day. My career has mapped out absolutely perfect. If I had to pick before I started how you would map out a fighter's career, like, you need to tick certain boxes. I fought in 2020 just before COVID against Joe Fitzpatrick for the Irish title in Belfast. He's from Belfast, in a sold out Ulster Hall, which is like famous for boxing up in Belfast, and sold out Ulster Hall in front of maybe 1,500 people for the Irish title, and that was a tick the box moment for me. Dealing with the crowd, dealing with the pressure, having my first kind of big fight nerves, big fight week, all of that kind of stuff, and my first title as well. So became the Irish champion. Got a chin check, got knocked down by Woodruff in COVID, in lockdown. Got back up, won the rest of the fight, won the rest of the round. Stepped up, fought Viktor Kotochikov, WBO European title, who was a prospect at the time. Knocked him out in 2 rounds. Got my former world champion, fought Miguel Vasquez, stopped him in 5 rounds. Joad Belmedi coming onto the scene, 16-0 French champion, put him away in 1 round. So I've been putting in big performances. People are saying like, the Gary Cully revolution, the last like 12 months since the Vasquez fight.
It has been longer.
This has been happening, like, and if you're in the boxing industry, you would have known my name probably for the last 4 years or so. So this has been happening, and it's been a long time coming. So if I was to map out my career from start to now, like, it couldn't have went more perfect.
In terms of mainstream, I think people obviously are getting to know you more now because of the exposure you got with DAZN, with Matchroom, because of your last 2 shows and your last 2 performances and the quality of the performances. Whereas, like you mentioned, I saw you behind closed doors in the midst of COVID, where I think where you knocked out one of these opponents you're talking about. So I knew about you back then. Where does this, obviously, when you go in the ring, you hit people like, and it's like a showstopper. Where's this power come from? Have you been just naturally powerful from a young age, or is it something you've learned about yourself, or you touch someone in the gym and you realise, geez, I've just got this power? Because it is literally, it's the game changer for you. It's that, not a get out of jail card. It's like it's coming, and then bang, it's too late. Yeah,
there's so much that goes into it. It's just hours and hours and hours and hours of practice. I've said in a couple of interviews in the past, like when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, I would have been called skinny. I was like 52 kilos, fought at 52 kilos in the European Championships, 2013, won gold, but it was like 6 foot at the time, and I was like very, very skinny, very, very weak, and people would have like given me a bit of stick for that throughout my teenage years. So when I became a man, then it was a big goal of mine to become strong. I always wanted to be strong, and I've been working on my strength and conditioning for the last like probably 10 years or more. I'm no stranger to strength and conditioning, to weights, to getting strong, and I feel like it's been a game changer for me, as well as technique, as well as time. And there's so much that goes into these knockouts. It's not just a couple of bicep curls and you're strong all of a sudden, or a couple of squats, like, you know what I mean? This is me standing in front of a mirror for 40 minutes a day after my training session and practicing a jab, practicing a straight left hand, practicing a straight 1-2. It's just hours and hours and hours and hours of practices went into it. It's timing, it's visualization, it's everything. There's so much that goes into it, you know.
It's crazy. Look, I want to talk about somebody else who keeps getting mentioned and linked to your name. We spoke about it before. Spoke to him about it before. Maxi Hughes. He's on this great run at the minute. IBO champion. It would definitely be a step up for you. I don't think there's no harm in saying that. It would be a step up for you so far. There's talks about this fight happening. Maxi's obviously, Eddie keeps promising him a life-changing fight. So when he gets offered you, who's obviously, you're on the rise at the minute, and Maxi's sort of been there, been around a while, paid his dues, and he's now on that periphery of getting a Linares that was talked about. A Ryan Garcia at one point. I know he's now fighting Tank, but then he's now, we've heard he's getting offered you. Can you maybe understand why that for him's like, you know, thanks, that's not really much reward, especially after fighting a Walsh and then a Kid Galahad who's, you know, I know he was stepping up in weight, but former world champion, difficult to look good against. Can you understand from his point why maybe isn't too keen about getting a fight offer?
Bits and bobs, yeah.
It's still a good fight.
It's a huge risk probably to Maxi, and that's what he sees, and he wants to, if he's going to take that sort of risk, he wants to get a huge payday for it, I'd imagine. And he wants to go to America, and he wants to experience the big fight week in America, and he wants to have that for when he retires. And it's a huge risk, like I said, for him. But I've said this in an interview earlier on as well. It's, if you're looking outside these top 5 names, 6 names in the lightweight division, I'm outside of them. I'm one of the names now who's on everybody's lips. So it's a big fight, and it's possibly one of the biggest fights of Maxi's career. For to take me in, what they're talking about, the Serrano Taylor 2 co-headline on Taylor Serrano 2, that's huge fight for not only me but for Maxi as well. We were due to fight back in 2020. Maxi pulled out a couple of days prior to the show being cancelled because of COVID, but we went our different ways, our opposite directions for whatever reason then, and Maxi's been on the form of his life. I've got a couple of good wins and won a couple of titles, so probably best off that didn't happen back then. It's a much bigger fight now. But look, I look at the run he's been on, or the wins he's had. Katochikov, points decision, lost a couple of rounds. I sparked him out in 2 rounds. Kid Galahad, featherweight, who'd just been knocked out by Kiko Martinez. Paul Hyland Jr., I've been asking for Paul Hyland Jr. since I'm 2-0. Literally been turned down by him since I'm 2-0. He, like, don't rate him massively at all. Straffon, yeah, give you Straffon. Straffon's good level opponent. John O'Carroll, again, featherweight, who was stepping up in weight. So yeah, people are on about this magic run that he's on. Ryan Walsh, again, featherweight, stepping up in weight. On about this magic run, but I don't see it, to be honest. I can see through it. But yeah, if it's the run of his life, it's the run of his life. I am up for putting an end to it. He's not so keen. I've got a job to do on Saturday night. So it's all systems go, and it's full focus on Saturday night.
And when I say, just to sort of correct in case anyone's saying, I'm not saying he wouldn't fight you. That's not what I'm saying. Listen, I'm saying in terms of an offer from, we're talking to a Ryan Garcia, yes, where he knows he's getting that 100%. Big money. In
a way, listen, I agree with you, and I like Maxi as a guy and as a fighter.
Great fight, by the way. if you two fight. It's
Yeah,
a brilliant
100%.
clash of styles, great fight.
And people are loving it across the UK and Ireland, and people are loving it. But I get that he feels like he's paid his dues. He says he's not getting any younger. It's a huge risk to fight me with probably what he would think as very little reward if he wins it. So he wants a bigger name, and it's kind of understandable. He probably wants big money as well, which is kind of understandable. But yeah, like I said, I've just broke down the run he's been on and broke down this. Like I think it's a fight that makes sense. If he doesn't. There's nothing I can do about that. You know, I'll go on to whoever does.
Well, let's see. It's there's still a lot of big names out there for you, and I'm sure you'll be knocking at the door of the big boys very soon. Look, Gary, thanks for giving us some of your time. I know I tend to waffle on a bit, so I appreciate it.
You and me both, Pat. You and me both.
But yeah, good luck for Saturday. We'll catch up after your fight, and yeah, hopefully it sets you up for a nice homecoming.
Yeah, 100%. Full focus on putting a show on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to getting in there, doing my thing, and we'll catch up after and on to Dublin then.
Just quickly, what's your ring walk music?
Oh, I haven't picked it yet.
You've not picked it?
I picked Lil TJ, No Escape. I like that, but it's maybe a little bit too slow, so I'm looking at a couple of other ones as well. Something that I play in the gym. I've said that in the past. Like I like something that's been playing and that gets me into that mode. The eyes lock in and I'm ready to rock them. But I'm still mulling it over. Haven't got back to Jamie about it yet.
Well, let's see. Gary, appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to Boxing Social, and we'll catch up again shortly.
Thank you, pal. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the platform. Appreciate it.